the opportunity president who is sick, but we have been able to hear from her voice. We pray with you. We are with you in spirit, and we know that you will be better. Past President Helen, please take on the mantle.
Hello, members. Hello, I hope I'm loud and clear.
We can hear you.
Thank you very much, Opportunity President. Thank you very much, members, for this opportunity to once again be in the chair of the President. I'm very grateful. It's such an honor when we are having such a beautiful presentation from none other than our best guest, Victoria. Thank you very much. This is the month of basic education and literacy, and Blueberry Buddy Chief, Buddy Group is in charge, and Rotarian Evaristo Mulumba is in charge. So he will be doing most of the rituals, but members, you are very welcome. Feel at home. This is Wande Gea, and we are always glad to be fellowshipping with you. We can't take you for granted. I would call upon the Buddy Chief, Rotarian Evaristo Mulumba, to kind of take us through the Rotary rituals. Thank you so much.
Thank you, President Helen. I can see Rotarian Evaristo Mulumba. Evaristo, if you are on and not probably able to identify you, just unmute and go ahead and give us the rituals. In case Evaristo is not on, I'll take up the moderator role to bridge the gap and request that the grace will be said by Opportunity President. We have so many Opportunity President. Opportunity President from Mutundwe, then the loyal toast by Nuru Nachitende from Rotary Club of Muyenga, then the forward test, I'll do so, then we'll do the object of Rotary by IPP, Miriam Kauma Mabilizi, in that order. So we don't have to waste time waiting for someone who is not yet on.
Hello, President. Okay,
Yes,
it could be okay, but the Buddy Chief had already drawn order of fellowship, and some of the members are there.
Okay.
For example, the grace is supposed to be given to us by Rotarian Stella Davis.
Okay.
The forward test is by Rotarian Nangendo, Sarah, and the object of Rotary is by Rotarian Victoria. The loyal toast is supposed to be by Rotarian Mulumba, and I'm sure he's on.
Okay, let's go ahead, please.
Order, please.
SMD, please.
Let's humble ourselves and say the grace for the friends and fellowship. We thank thee, O Lord. May we always be mindful of the needs of others. Amen.
Amen. The loyal toast.
Okay, Madam President.
Yes, kindly take on the loyal toast.
I'm always handy. Can we all toast to the good health of the President? To His Excellency, the President of the
Republic of Uganda.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you so much. The forward test. Can we have the forward test from Rotarian Sarah Nangendo?
Thank you, President. Let us recite the forward test together. Of the things we think so or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you so much. Can we have the object of Rotary from Rotarian Victoria?
Thank you, Sitting President. Good evening, Rotarians, guests of Rotary, interactors, Rotaractors, and everybody present. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise and in particular, to encourage and foster, first, the development and acquaintance as an opportunity for service. Second, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. Fourth, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service. Thank you, President.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Victoria. Members, as I said, once again, you are very welcome. This is Wandegea, still at Wandegea. And Wandegea is in the process of doing its project, and we have the straw contribution. I would kindly request the host to share the number for the straw. Members, feel free to contribute anything. Each straw goes for 5,000, and you can contribute as many straws as you want. Please feel free to share whatever you want to give to the club so that we can do our project. And also make sure that you've registered yourself in the chat room. And in case of any Rotary information, kindly register it in the chat room. Thank you so much, members. Can I also again have Rotarian Victoria again to introduce our dear guests to the members?
Thank you, President. Tonight we have a guest speaker by the names of Victoria Kisarale. Victoria Kisarale is a dedicated educationalist with a wealth of transferable skills and experience gained over a career that spans more than 35 years. Mrs. Kisarale Victoria is a medalist in the year 2016 in recognition for her contribution to the girl child education. Victoria Kisarale is a charter member of the Rotary Club of Kasangati and currently the principal of Viva College in Jinja. Fellow Rotarians, I present to you past president of the Rotary Club of Kasangati to speak to us tonight. Thank you, President.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Victoria, for the introduction. My topic, I hope everybody's online. On the screen, my topic is basic education amidst COVID-19. I've called it BE. I warmly welcome my foreign Rotarians. I've been a Rotarian in name only for the past 2 years, but I'm going to log on in 2021, inshallah. What is basic education? It has various definitions, but the one I saw, there are two because I also have mine. It's an evolving program of instruction, intended to provide students with the opportunity to become responsible and respectful global citizens, and also to contribute to their economic well-being and that of their families and communities, and to explore and understand these different perspectives of life. Now, there are different versions of basic education. In the Uganda version, if you go online, they are looking at it as a structure of 7-year primary, which has a structure of 7 years in primary, 6 years of secondary education, And out of the 6 years, it is divided into 4 years. The first one, 4 years of lower secondary, 2 years of upper secondary, and 3 to 5 years of post-secondary, depending on where someone goes, you know, whether it's after senior 4, but that is the structured one, ideally. I have my own perspective of basic education. For me, I believe that basic education should be able to do various things. Number one, it must produce self-assured individuals who demonstrate self-motivation, self-management, and self-esteem, who know their own preferences, strengths, and limitations, who can adjust their behavior and language appropriately to different social situations, and who can relate well to a range of personality types. That's my own view. One of the strands under self-assured individual. I also think that basic education should produce a person who is responsible, who should produce responsible and patriotic citizens who are positive of their own identity as individuals and as global citizens. And again, who are motivated to contribute to the well-being of themselves, their community, and the nation. Now, again, there is another strand of lifelong learners. A person must be a lifelong learner. You know, basic education should be able to equip a learner to become a lifelong learner who can plan, who can reflect, and direct their own learning, who can actively seek lifelong opportunities for personal and professional development, who is a contributor to society, she has the capacity to acquire and apply what I call the generic skills. When I talk about the generic skills, I'm talking about critical thinking and problem solving. By the way, that can be unpacked further, but in the interest of time, I've not unpacked it. Who is a good communicator? He can communicate efficiently and effectively. Who has ICT proficiency? Who has values, honesty, integrity, respect, responsibility? All those strands, you know, it's a very big story behind every strand, whether in values, ICT proficiency, communication, critical thinking. The ICT is a very big one, really, because the globe, the setting, the landscape is changing, and we have seen it. You know, even now, it is a manifestation of what is happening on. It's a virtual meeting. So, COVID brought up challenges, and we were all thrown into confusion, as it were. It has been an abnormally long holiday with no end. And as we speak to date, we don't know when it is going to end. What happened is that it threw the learners off course and left them confused. The parents also were thrown into panic, confusion, and anxiety. The parents have no idea how to handle the challenge. The learners have no idea about self-drive. There are a host of so many problems. I'm just listing a few. This morning, one of the directors called me and said, we've been doing online teaching at Viva, and there are other students from other schools who have joined our online teaching. Now, one of the students, our students in senior 4, teamed up, no, identified, I don't know whether that is the right word I should use, marked one of the girls who is from another school, which I won't mention, and actually did his footwork, realized that she was in a certain school in primary, went and got her phone number. He called her, tracked her, and went to her home. And actually, this young man had the audacity to enter that house. It is very well guarded. Don't ask me how he entered. And then he picked the girl, and they went out on a bicycle ride. I think people noticed what was happening, and they called the mom, and I think she called the girl, and he said, but she's the one who came and picked me, and so on and so forth. But to cut the long story short, the lady called me and said, excuse me, it is your son from Viva. And I said, yes. I have so many sons and daughters from Viva. Actually, the total number is 600. And yes, I know they are mine, but currently they are not under my jurisdiction. And to make matters worse, this gentleman came up to your home and picked your daughter from your home. Now, how do you want me to handle this? You know, this is, I'm just sharing this example. I won't tell you where we ended, but it went into so many pointers, and everyone who is listening in on, one of the first pointer is that while we take care of the girls, a big number of parents don't take care of the boys. I'll rest that case. I want to open a Pandora's box of problems there. So, way forward suggestions. Dear Rotarians, fellow Rotarians, for me, I am of the view that God just switched responsibilities. When things go wrong, when you look at an video and the way she or he conducts himself or herself, people ask 2 questions. Number 1, the school you went to. Number 2, the home you grew up in. Fellow Rotarians, in a strange way, 2020 threw the responsibility to the other team, the home. So my thinking is that the home in the past 5 months ought to have taken on the responsibility of now running the show as a school. So the parents must accept change and assume the role of head teacher in the home. Because now the school for the past 5 months is in your home. And if the status quo, if you have operated as you have always operated before the school was brought in your camp, then you are missing in action. Something is fundamentally wrong with the home. So together with everyone at home, they must have a plan of sorts. When we are starting school, we sit as a school and we must have a work plan for the term. I concede you were thrown into the deep end without knowing how long this is going to end. I mean, for us, we know the statutory opening of the term, closing, and so on and so forth, and we have a strategic plan out of which we drive the work plan for the entire year. This ought to happen in the home. And you know who? The key stakeholders, the children, the maid, I don't know. Later on, I've mentioned the other key stakeholders. Together with everyone at home, you must have a plan of sorts. What activities need to be done? When? Why? Agree on the skills that must be acquired by all, the parents, the children, and everybody. What are the ground rules and regulations that must be put in place for everyone to adhere to, starting with the head of the home? You know, decide on other stakeholders for assistance. Who else can you loop in? I know homes where people have had to do a classroom. of about 10 people or 5, as the case may be, and then one of the parents has to sit in to monitor the teaching and learning. They have a timetable. Those logged on, because they were aware, they became aware, they realized that the home, now school roles were switched. The home became the school. In short, the home must be run the way the school is run. People keep asking us that I brought my daughter to school. This has not happened. This has not happened. Dear Rotarians, COVID has changed the things such that we shall be doing the questioning this time round. What have you been doing with the students for the, we hit 5 months, 21st September, we shall hit 6 months. I don't know whether we are going to drag this up to the end of the year. The grapevine is active with the fact that the candidate classes might be allowed back in school, but all that is speculation, just as the grapevine does. So everyone in the home must adapt to the fact that home should be run as the school. That is my view. So remember, I gave my own perspective of what basic education should be. And I am saying it is against that background, most of those skills, most of the skills that I mentioned, you know, being a self-assured individual, actually, the school and the home do a complementary role in imbibing, in skilling the students with the skills that I mentioned from a personal point of view. But you, the parents, what do I request you to do? Pass the baton to your children. Let them pick from where you left off. Give them the best education, not just formal education, but handed down wisdom, life lessons, informal truths, honorable family traditions, tried and tested principles. Let the ones who come after you go further than you. Dear fellow Rotarians and parents, you must have a clean handover. When we ask you to hand over at a certain time, whether next week or next month or whatever, you're going to account to us and tell us what skills. Now that school was switched and put in your home. We would expect you to do all that. COVID-19 came to allow parents to take over. It's time for change, and you can do it. Thank you for listening. We still never give up, as it were. Great minds shape the world. So I'm running those two in tandem. Thank you very much.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for such a great presentation. You've really shared with us your inner perspective of what BE is, basic education is. And we are so grateful. You've shared with us, you've taught us that the school has come to our homes, and I hope we shall be able to take up the challenge, to be able to accept the change amidst this COVID-19. I would now request Rotarian Godfrey to kindly take us through the Q&A session. But thank you so much. Thank you very much. We are grateful.
You're welcome.
Rotarian Godfrey, are you there?
Thank you. Yes, I'm here. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, PP Helen. And we are so grateful for that submission from PP Victoria Kisarale. Currently, we have questions that still are pouring in the chat room. I have so far 2 questions. One from Sarah. I'm seeing a name called Sarah. She was asking that how does one handle a situation of same literate or illiterate parents who have no idea of what is expected to happen in a learning environment? That is question number one. So question number two, again from Sarah, is asking, where does all these leave communities that have no access or cannot afford the technology to keep up with learning? Kindly, I suggest that PP Victoria can handle those two questions as more questions are pouring in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't want to bring the issue of illiterate parents here, and I am reluctant to use that word. All of us globally, my colleague Ruth Kavuma used to say that when we are given children, no one is handled a manual for bringing up children. We all begin from the same slate. And depending on our exposure, whether it's education, whether it's upbringing, whether it's I don't know what, we bring up children. Now, a big number of our parents or grandparents, I don't want to use that big number, parents, grandparents, they never went to school, but apparently they brought up very well refined people whose life skills I've mentioned here. Very well refined people. They never went to school, a big number of them. But it is amazing that actually, for us who have gone to school, we are doing a very terrible job. I've already pointed out that the current parent hardly cares about the boy child. And as a result, we are having scenarios which have, like the one I've shared with this morning. This has nothing to do with illiteracy. We just, for us who have had a certain level of education, we are terrible. We are terrible. We have abandoned everything. And so, you know, the society, of course, there has been a disintegration of the social fabric. When I was young and going to school, we would greet everybody from home up to the school, you know, and it was a crime unredeemed not to greet anyone. The community took over. Now community did not take over. I mean, it is each man for himself and God for us all. You can't dare point out a finger to a child who is doing something bad and so on and so forth. As for the communities which do not have access to ICT, to whatever, I think under the circumstances, I'm treading softly there. I don't know you and I don't know where to shift the blame, but still something can be done in terms of making that home a school in its own context, regardless of its setting. What are the values? What are the skills? What should be the norm? On Monday this week, I went to do the shopping. Friday, I went to my Kisarale Gayaza Trading Center, and there is this young man who walked up to me and said, he said, "Good afternoon, ma'am. Can I help you, ma'am?" And I said, I don't think I need help. He said, "Madam, you need help. My name is so-and-so. I am in senior 2. I have this wheelbarrow. I rent it for 2,000 shillings a day. I have to make pocket money. I have actually now made money to pay fees for 2 terms. So if you deny me the opportunity of escorting you around the market so that you can give me something modest, you'll be depriving me of education." He told me his name was Semakula. I respected. I looked at him in amazement. Life skills there. He came, he was neat, he was smartly dressed, and he had to get this client at all costs and in the most humble way. That is the education we are talking about. That one has nothing to do with us ICT or illiteracy and so on. What life skills under the circumstances in COVID do we need? Actually, the whole thing, which I didn't go into, is that there is a lot our children should have been equipped with all of the skills that can enable them navigate into the kind of swimming pool we are thrown in. Because everybody thought when the lockdown came on, that it would be 1, 2, 3 weeks. We've rolled 5 weeks. What does this teach us? How do we prepare our children for that eventuality? This time around, it has been COVID. At another time, it should be something in someone else's individual life. How will that child handle this? When the parent of that girl called me this morning, I said, Madam, do you realize that you also have something to do here? What kind of life skills does your child have? So if any Tom, Dick, or Harry is going to drive in her home and pick her, what does that mean? Where are the gaps? You know, there are so many questions. Keeping other factors constant, what skills can we imbibe in these children? I'm not talking about the formal education, but still with the formal education, somebody was telling me in the northern part, there is a certain place in the northern part, I don't want to mention, where the community organized themselves. In primary, they are focusing on P7 members, on senior 4 candidates. I think it is senior 4 candidates and P7. And the community, it's a modest community where a big number have not gone to school, where they have tasked the DEO to give them the papers that are distributed by New Vision. Over now.
Thank you. There are more questions here. Before we pick a hand from Rotarian Victoria, there are some pieces of appreciations from Rotarian Peter Zake. Thank you, PP Victoria, for the great presentation. Now that COVID-19 has brought homeschooling in your simple definition of basic education, will this improve the literacy levels in the country? That is a submission from Dr. Zake. Another from our own president of Kisarale. As a result of COVID-19, many school children need psychological support. Many are grappling with so many ways, but with no answers. Many young girls are carrying pregnancies, etc. What advice can you give on the psychological part of the problem? Kindly, PP Victoria, you can handle those questions. Meanwhile, we ask some more time from our sergeant. Thank you.
Yes, there's a question of whether the COVID will improve the literacy levels. I don't think it would. Just like before COVID, the literacy levels have been going down because we don't have there is no, when we talk about literacy or numeracy, the skills have been going down. I was having a conversation with somebody and was saying, Vicky, with due respect to all my fellow teachers, he said even the level of the teachers, you know, someone makes a statement in class or goes to teach, and one wonders. I've listened to so many online teaching, and I said, oh my God. So, but you know, COVID, what COVID has done is to show us there's so many gaping holes in our system, whether it is home system, whether it is school system, whether it is government system. And believe me, no one has all the answers. But what it has just done one thing, to show the gaping holes in the entire system. You know, so you can see the psychological, so the literacy levels, one of the parents shared with me last week and said, Vicky, one of the things I've learned in my home is to come back early and read I buy the New Vision and Monitor and with my children, and we must discuss what was in the New Vision and Monitor. She had never done that. She told me that she has novels she has tasked the children in her home, depending on the classes, to read a certain novel, which all of them have to discuss. You know, they discuss and they relate it to what is happening here. They relate it to the challenges they've seen. Actually, for me, for her, she told me the whole thing started with the fact that I think on the neighborhood, people were starving. You know, people in the neighborhood were starving in the community, the catchment area where they were. They had homes which did not have food. And he said, so for her, she has used that to tell the children that people, do you see what is happening? Do you realize the challenges that can crop up in a certain setting? And this is what COVID is saying, like I mentioned earlier, that whether it is at individual, community, home, whatever level, it has challenged everybody. Are we strong enough to eat the rusty nails when bullets begin to fly? When push comes to shove? Are we ready for that? Rotarian Sarah talked about the psychological support. The home is the single most important institution, which apparently is crippled. You know, that's where the psychosocial support should begin from. That's my view. So, yeah, there has been so many teenage pregnancies and so on, according to the press and so on. But excuse me, where charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. For me, dear fellow Rotarians, COVID has greatly exposed and embarrassed this system called home. These people have been drifting in and out of the system. So when COVID came, it simply highlighted the weaknesses in the homes. That's it. Because we build on what is there anyway. So I think that's my submission.
Thank you. I request that maybe we give the last lot of questions from the members because in the interest of time. And I suggest that you share your contacts here so that more questions can come to you directly. Now, lastly, we have a very positive note from Sarah. It says that this is an opportunity for children to learn basic life skills, which were no longer being learned as children. We are busy going to school, where regrettably, because of so many reasons, even academic learning was not taking place. Another comment from Rotarian OP Salantari says that there are so many questions, actually, so many questions, but with very few answers, or no answers. So there's a question from Rotarian Victoria. It's saying that today children are learning from TV, radio, and newspapers, and how about those who have never seen any of these? And how about the disabled children, like the blind, who are not catered in any way during the COVID period? A question from Alice Goa. What skills do parents in rural areas need to handle these situations? Kindly, in the interest of time, I suggest that you handle those questions, then we go to for another session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Those students who have not been catered for, dear fellow Rotarians, let me maybe mention the place where the community is doing some work. It is in Zombo district. Zombo district, the community. If you were to go there, you would be surprised how that community, 95% of them have not gone to school, or, you know, I don't have the statistical evidence, but I have been there. But they haven't gone to school, but they mobilized themselves. They mobilized themselves through the local council, and they went up to the district education officer and they said, can we have the papers for our children to go through, to learn? They've mobilized, they have about 3 teachers who have been doing the work for at least the P7 workers and the P7 and those in senior 4, you know. By the way, I don't want us to imagine I don't want us to imagine that it is the community, the rural community, who don't have skills. The educated people, we are worse than them. Take it or leave it. We are not any better at all. If anything, we have actually dwindled. Those guys beat us hands down. We have not. So this whole thing, like I said, that now COVID has highlighted all the weaknesses in the system. Community, individual, home, like I've said, at the risk of repeating myself. It has highlighted the weaknesses in whatever. Because my mind, for example, now goes to LCs. They could be more proactive along these people, along the lines. They will be at the front line. The existing administrative structures, right from LC1 most probably, would be in the thick of things. But in the absence of that, there are communities which have, like that one I'm talking about, where they come together once a week to meet, just outside LC work, but as people of the same thinking, you know, to talk about issues. So we should generate a platform. Thank you very much for listening in. This debate can be very, very, we can spend the whole night here. Thank you very much.
Hello, can you please mute whoever is giving us feedback? Hello, thank you so much. We still have some more time. We are supposed to end at 6:30. So okay. I saw a hand. Kindly allow some few questions. I saw a hand in the participants.
Yeah, very true, PP Helen. We have a hand from Rotarian. We had a hand before from Rotarian Victoria, Najita, but I think because it was Suma, then he put it down. She put it, but we can give her an opportunity to give a hand. He will be followed by Nuru Nachitende, and finally followed by Lieutenant Naume Muhwezi. Over to you now.
Thank you so much, Q&A. I think Rotarian Nuru can go because my answer has already been taken on. I submit. Thank you.
Yes, over to you, Rotarian Nuru Nachitende.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, President Helen. Thanks so much, Past President Vicky. Actually, it's not a question as such. I just wanted to say that this is another opportunity for us parents to learn stuff which we had forgotten when we go to the business of studying with our children. You know, learning is a process which is non-stop. So parents, if you engage into teaching your children, you are learning something for which will benefit you also, which you may have forgotten from your school days. Thank you.
Thank you, Rotarian Nurs. Lastly, Rotarian Naume Muhwezi Atako, kindly, you can come in.
Thank you so much, presenter. This was quite very useful for us to really get the realities around basic education. And I really agree with you in a number of areas that you talked about, especially around the family, the role of the family really. It has been missing. It has been a very key missing link in the education system, although we cannot blame entirely on that. I give an example of the Parents Teachers Association that is supposed to be linking the community, linking the schools previously, even before COVID, to the schools. But you find that in most of the areas, that element is so weak that you find schools struggling to do a lot for the children. Parents send the children to school and then they say school will mold them and do so many other things. But now it has come back to us, to our hands. However, given the dynamics of us all parents, like I give an example of myself as a teacher, but I cannot do much currently with the children because of the system that we've been in. We've grown up, the culture, the system has told the children that it's only the school which is a learning environment. And they keep on telling me, at school, I have my friends, I have these other people who can help me, but you're a teacher, but you're not teaching me. So there's quite a lot that parents are also suffering from currently. However, I don't think parents can really teach their children to the level that a teacher can be. However, we can do the little that we can, like the basic skills, like engaging them and doing many other things with them, which is basic. But when the actual time comes to go back to school, the system needs to focus into psychosocial support for the beginning of the few months before academics is done. Then finally, I also wanted to emphasize the role that we have as stakeholders in advocacy. All the things that we are talking about get back to policy, and how much do we need to do to advocate for this using the different fora, because we know that there's a very big loophole in the system that needs to be handled, and the COVID has just exposed it. So how much can we put our messages across for policy reform and advocacy? Thank you.
Thank you, Rotian Naume. Now we can listen to the reply from our presenter. Over to you, Dr. Victoria Kisarale.
Thank you very much. Yeah, she really has raised a lot of issues, and like I said, that COVID has highlighted everybody, every sector, home, community, individual, mention it. It has highlighted that now the issue is that for each segment, but with specific reference in this case maybe to the home, we need to get back to the drawing board. I mean, beginning with ourselves, what is it that we have seen? What interventions do we need to put in place? Because we can, this simply can't be business as usual. What is it? What are the challenges? What is it? What does one have to do? The lady I was talking to this morning, I told her that, don't you think, just like I shared and said, don't you think there is something you have not done? He said, yes, I have talked, we talk every day, and so on and so forth. And I said, now, as a teacher, I know our children, do you know, our children know us better than we know them. They know us better than we know them. So they wear a facade, they put on a facade. So they tell you, they say, they behave exactly the way you would want them to behave. This is why when back in school, you tell a parent that, you know what, your daughter, your son has this challenge. And he would say, I know my child very well. I know my child very well. I've been with her all these years. I know her very well. And yet the child knows the child knows the parent better. He wears a facade. He wears a facade, which the child is not, the parent is not aware. So there is a lot that needs to be done. All of us need to do a self-audit, which is not easy, by the way. Which is not easy when said, what is it that can be done? But I think for me, the critical one is we could ask our children sincerely, when we are not reprimanding. We have been, the mode of communication with our children has been, you haven't, you have, you haven't, you didn't, you did, you didn't, and so on and so forth. That has been our mode of communication. We lost it. We can't discuss, have a discussion, a chat. We talk to them. We never talk with them. We lost that chance at the age of 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the current age group, even the 3-4-year-old one, we have no idea. There is no 1+1 about it. So I don't have the answers. But once the communication channel is murdered, one wonders where to start from. That is from a home perspective, really. So like the previous speaker has said, there is a lot that needs to be done, but dear fellow Rotarians, I also don't have the answers. All of us have to get back and think about it. But preferably begin with yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, PP Victoria. There's one called Eggy Moore from RC Webaja. He 100% agreed with you that indeed COVID-19 has exposed the weakness in the homes. So with those, with that observation from a Rotarian from Webaja, I think we have exhausted all the questions from the Rotarians and guests. Thank you so much. Kind of back to PP Helen to handle the session.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Past President Victoria. Thank you, Godfrey. Thank you, members. Yes, COVID has highlighted every sector of our society, and the weaknesses and the need to rethink is now even more evident than ever. You've actually taught us quite a lot, and we need to rethink in terms of policy and even what we do at home as parents. I would wish to call in Rotarian Mulumba to move a vote of thanks to our guest speaker and the members here. Rotarian Mulumba, are you there? Can you unmute and move a vote of thanks? Banangabuze.
President Helen, can I do that?
Please come in. I don't know, I think he's lost it.
Thank you so much, my namesake. I really feel so proud about that name. And for this wonderful talk that you've given to parents, advice, and everybody checking themselves, starting from their home. I want to say thank you so much on behalf of the Rotary Club of Kampala Wandegeya, and we shall have much more of you to come in and solve a few problems for individuals, probably sometime in future. Thank you so much. You're a good, jolly fellow. We hope to see you soon. I submit, President.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the two Victorias. Can we have, no, it's time for announcements, and can we have CP Peter giving us an announcement about our visit to Kaliro? CP, are you there?
Yes, Madam President, I'm happy to announce that we have a maternal and a fistula ward being constructed in Kaliro. We will have groundbreaking on the 25th of September, but we also have a visit either on Friday 4th or 6th, depending on the confirmation of the local leaders, because there was some activities going on. We are getting the confirmations tomorrow. However, there is also an activity that is coming up on either of those 2 days for malaria in Katanga. Rotary Club of Kampala Wandegeya has been identified as one of those clubs to support eradication or care for the people of Katanga to fight malaria, and it could be this Saturday on Sunday for a site visit for needs assessment. Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, have we lost you?
Oh, sorry, I thought I was on. Hello, thank you, CP. Members, thank you so much for fellowshipping with us. Can we also have some offers in the chat for straws? We need some money to carry out all those activities. And can the number for the straw be shared on the screen so that those members that feel like parting with a straw contribute? Can we have Sergeant at Arms? We still, in the meantime, can we have Sergeant at Arms giving us the statistics. And then we shall have a small close. Our president will give us just a few words to welcome us from the cancer run. And then finally, we shall have the royal toast from Eli Kigozi. But let's first have Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you, President. It's always my pleasure to present to you the business of today. In total attendance, we've had 43 attendees, and of which we have 75% of members, our own members. Now, the clubs which, before I introduce the clubs, I'd like to thank our Pagwere for having attended with us, Egjimo, PDS Ronald Kawadwa, and our OPs, Jonathan Wangudo, OP Geoffrey Hairora, OP Natumanye, OP Kiseka, OP Susan Samula, OP Elizabeth Sempewa, OP Alice Mukasa, OP Kakone, and PP Victoria, and we have also PP Kisa. Thank you so much for coming to join with us in our fellowship. And the number of clubs that attended with us today are RC Ntinda, RC Mienga, Rotary Club of Springs, Rotary Club of Nansana, Rotary Club of Kasangati, Rotary Club of Kitante, Rotary Club of Kiboga, Rotary Club of Bulindo, Rotary Club of Kileka Movers, Rotary Club of Kampala West, Provision Club of Mbarara Metropolitan, Rotary Club of Kiwatule, Rotary Club of Kansanga, Rotary Club of Namasuba, Rotary Club of Bwebaja, Rotary Club of Buloba, and Rotary Club of Kajansi. We also had a visitor called Sarah, but we don't know where she comes from. But Sarah, you are also most welcome, and please feel at home and come again. With that, I hand over back to you, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sergeant at Arms. Is our OP President on? Can we have a word closing remark from her?
Thank you, PP Helen, and all our guests, Rotarians, and our dear visitors. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Helen, for taking us through the fellowship. And those of you who were with us at the beginning were informed that I'm sick and hospitalized, but at least I've been able to join in to be with you. Thank you for fellowshipping with us. And I also thank the cancer running officer, the club cancer running officer, and PP Helen, who were able to step in and organize the virtual cancer run. And I was with you in spirit. I missed attending because I had looked forward to that event, but God's plan was otherwise. But thank you once again, friends. Continue your prayers. I'm in a stable condition, and hopefully I will be released soon to go back home. But please join us again next week for another fellowship. And for my friend Victoria Kisarale, I'm so indebted to you for honoring our invitation and for that wonderful presentation, which all of us at this particular time wanted to learn about, because as parents, we are confused about the future of our children, but we trust that God is in control and all will be well. And I wish you a beautiful month and a beautiful week. It is basic education and literacy. And I wish the birthday group in charge, Blueberry, a fruitful month. Thank you so much. Over to you, PP Helen. And have a good evening, all of you.
PP Helen, I have something to say. Kindly allow me.
Please say it. Go ahead.
We
Go
have
ahead.
visitors, Diana and there's Diana and somebody from the Caribbean. They've come to join in and listen in. We recognize them and we ask them to come again. We always have very interesting talks. You're welcome, Diana and your partner. I submit, President.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, all the dignitaries that have been able to fellowship with us, all the Rotarians, the Rotractors, and perhaps any interactor and the guests that have been able to make it here with us. Thank you, President Sarah Antale. Thank you for gathering energy and fellowshipping with us. We are strengthened when we hear your voice, and we are always praying for you. We pray that you heal very fast and you're able to join us soon. Can we therefore have a final toast from Rotarian Ellie? Members, thank you very much. Please come again. And don't forget a straw in case you have any straw, drop in a straw so that the club is able to move to another level. I submit. Thank you. Rotarian Ellie, are you there? Final toast, please. Are you there?
Thank you, President. For those of us who are having evening tea, who are holding cups, and those with bottles, can you please charge them more and more? I also want to add my voice to the rest to thank Rotarian Victoria for the wonderful presentation. I'm personally doing a self-audit. For the wonderful fellowship we have had today, I toast to Rotary International.
Rotary World
Over.
She's a jolly good fellow, for she's a jolly good fellow. She's a jolly good fellow.
Hello. And so say all of us.
And so say all of us.
And so all of us.
Say all of us. Oh, she's a jolly good fellow. She's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow. And no one can deny.
Thank you. Thank you, people. Thank you for coming. Have a cup of tea.
Thank you, PP Helen.
Oh, wow. Rotarian Sarah, nice to hear your voice.
Nice to hear from you all. Thanks for all the good work you people have been doing.
Thank you too.
Yes, I also pray for the president to recover very, very soon.
Thank you, Sarah.
I miss you people, but I'm around in spirit. I miss you so much.
Better join us, not in spirit. Continue joining us.
President, I'll be continuing. Actually, as I told Rotarian Mlumba in the morning, I had to leave my house and then go to a place where I can get network. That's why I was able to be on today. It was a nice fellowship.
We realize you're on top of a tree. Yes. Network is a challenge.
Where is Jennifer Suvi today?
And
She's
Rotarian Suvi, I've seen Francis.
Thanks,
Madam President Sarah. Wish you
Hello, my dear. Thank you.
What are you seeing?
Can you share a video or you can't?
naye nja kutereera temweraliikirira.
Welcome.
Rotarian Mulumba ndowooza kati obunyivu buvuddewo.
Bannange Jennifer Suubi aluwa.
She was on. But she's not the budget chief.
Anti namanyira okuwogana kwe.
She was the budget chief. Now Everest is the budget chief. So she will be less louder this time.
Okay.
Pipi Helen yabafunidde ebyokunywa.
Yabitufunira ku Sande.
Yabafunira ku Sande kati muviiriddemu awo.
Tukyali ku ebyo.
Family of Rotary taliiwo, Sarah.
Ayikafulumye.
Babawe bannange. Abanywa amazzi babawe, abanywi ba caayi, nze ekikopo ekyange weekiri wano nearby. I'm taking my tea.
You can send it through mobile
money. Babawe kye munywa.
Through mobile money you can send.
Through mobile money?
You send the chai.
I'm going to send for the straw.
What am I saying for the straw?
I'm also going to send for
Kisara, can we see your face?
For the straw, Kisara, on maker.
You want to see
this
one,
Sarah? Okay, let me send help me. How do I show the face?
Kisara, on straws maker.
Yeah, Ogaba, no,
Nja kuweereza straws 5.
Wonderful.
I'll send you 5.
The 20 heading is straws in the funya nabo biri webale nnyo.
Naluli biri ngenda kuweereza nga maze wano ezali sakuweereza. I'll send you 20,000.
Kati nkyalinda za Sala Nakabaalo oyo.
Tabavaako katabawadde ne Francis Suubi mulabyewo.
Tubayo kasubutyo bwe butyo.
Francis Suubi.
Wanji.
How are you?
Francis nga oli otya Surya?
I'm okay, mommy. I'm praying for you.
I will be fine. I will be fine. But thank
we
you,
love you so much
for joining the fellowship.
Yeah, but I joined late. I'm sorry. Next time I'll do better.
Yeah, better late than never. Thank you for joining.
Opportunity President Rotarian Rachel Lubowa, World Class President and also in charge of polio, is on with us.
Oh, wow. Rachel, we are happy to have you today joining us.
We have also Pamela Businje and Eva Konde from RC Ntinda. They have been with us and still with us. Including President Margaret Magumba. That is Nate.
Yes. President Margaret, nice to have you joining us.
Choka World Class. OP President, tusanze okulabanya.
Thank you. How are you, Nyabo and Isebo?
We are very well, thank you. We shall join you tomorrow, Margaret.
Okay.
And World Class Rachel, are you still with us? World Class President Rachel?
She has to be on. She's on. She can't
I'm
leave.
sure
One
she's
president cannot leave like that.
she's also rushing to Kansanga. So
Kansanga,
let
yes.
us join the
Okay, let's
Kansanga
get
people.
Kansanga.
Please,
Let's
let
try
us
to
join
do Kansanga.
Kansanga. Yeah.
Pamela Businje is from the Inner Wheel Club of Kampala.
Pamela, you are most welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Ombuulire ku ebyo bambi tuteese mukubuulire bw'oyinza omugamba pakani.
Okay, please, gentle people, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much. Can we all be encouraged to go to Kansanga?
Please make sure you join the fellowships which are there today.
Okay.
Please make sure you join the fellowships. Just divide yourselves into small groups and join our other clubs this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. We can.